There's more trouble for the Americans at North Star Bay near Thule in Greenland. And it's over those 4 H-bombs they lost when a US B-52 bomber crashed there in flames. Though the hunt is on to locate the missing nuclear weapons, trouble's on its way from Denmark. Greenland belongs to the Danes, and they're annoyed that United States bombers with nuclear payloads should be overflying their territory, apparently without their consent. American scientists and experts who are working from an improvised camp on the spot believe the burning plane melted a hole through 7 feet of solid ice and sank 900 feet to the seabed. And since they found fragments of all 4 bombs trapped in the ice, the Danes are even more worried. It means that some or possibly all of the fuses were partially detonated in the crash and are now leaking radioactivity. Denmark doesn't seem convinced by American assurances, first, that there was no risk of a nuclear explosion when the bomber crashed, and second, that the present level of radiation in the bay is not dangerous. Though it may take months, the Americans are determined to retrieve their bombs. The bay's covering of ice will hamper any underwater search. On the surface, the Arctic winter's perpetual night, coupled with sub-zero temperatures, just add to the difficulties. Meanwhile, everybody at North Star Bay is subject to strict scrutiny for radioactive contamination, which simply indicates the Americans aren't taking any chances. Soon after the crash, in which one of the 7-man crew was killed, John Whale went to the scene and sent back this report.
The long night will lift at Thule in 3 weeks or a month. Till then, the main problem for the searchers on the ice is to see what they're doing and keep warm. Shelter is primal. The Eskimos, less busy with their dog sleds now that the helicopters are there in force, are turning out igloos as storm refuges. Huts are going up as storage for the alpha radiation counters, which are reading less and less now, one is told. The instruments in the decontamination centers are finding less too, though some of the evidence may have been buried under snow.
How's the search going? At Thule Air Base, a press conference. First, an eyewitness report from the first man on the scene of the crash, Jens Inglerson, a Dane.
And I saw a big fire out there, and I heard a real boom, and the fire was getting very big. Obviously, it was a great amount of fuel burning, and it slowed down a little bit. I was carrying a radio on the dock sleds, and I reported back to the command post at the base and said I got hold of 5 dock sleds, and now we were 6 together. So we're getting pretty crowded out there. And I asked the colonel if he wanted these dock sleds under my command to go on any kind of survey or rescue trip. He agreed with it and briefed us about staying 1 mile away from this scene down there. So up here, we lined our dock sleds up with 500 yards in between and went very slow down this area, actually southeast, staying away from this scene up there. I was driving on the western dock sleds, and we came down to here, and we didn't find it. To make sure that nobody was traveling out there, I went down this way and stopped the dock sled down here, parked the dogs, and the Eskimo followed me a little bit, and then he stopped, and then I walked around this area here to see if there's any tracks after a sledge.
And now the man in charge of the search operation, General Hunziker.
We have pieces, yes, we have pieces that we can identify of the weapons. And sure, we've got pieces of the aircraft that we can identify. We've got some experts out there, structural experts. We've found portions of weapons. We have yet to find all of it, and we're still looking. The experts have to put these pieces together and see what comes out of the jigsaw puzzle. And we're not that far along yet, you know.
When you work out of doors in the Arctic, you have to be particularly careful of your feet and hands. The workers on the ice in temperatures of 20 degrees below zero and worse, wear what everybody else wears at Thule, United States Air Force issue clothing. The boots, first of all, are called mucklucks, an Eskimo word, and they're loose canvas boots with inside them a huge white felt sock, and inside them as many of your own socks as you can find room for. Then inside, over the rest of your body, you wear long underwear called thermal underwear. On your legs outside, iron pants, so called because the woolen lining in between the cotton outsides is so stiff that the trousers will pretty well stand up by themselves. And there's much the same structure in your parka, which also has luminous strips on it, so that you're not run over by the traffic that you can't hear because of the huge hood that you wear with fur of the Canadian wolf. But there is another menace here, and that is wind, which can reduce the effective temperature lower even than the thermometer reading. And to guard against that, they provide you with a mask, cold weather, type D1A, which is worn thus.